33. June. The scent of the tobacco mixed with my pungent breath made my stomach turn. I like the innocent looking ones, and I liked seeing your fucking face, bloody Austin. James' tall figure stopped in front of me. He grabbed the guy by the collar and threw him far away from me. No, he wasn't protecting me. He was doing it because he couldn't stay away from trouble. Oh, so Blondie is with you, huh, Hunter? Ethan Austin's expression wasn't a true sneer. He curled his lip into an unsettling smirk. I didn't know he was angry or amused. The princess didn't tell us. We thought she was available. Another guy barked. My head was spinning from the nausea and started spinning even more when James grabbed Austin by his jacket. A guy came to his rescue. Hunter, chill. We didn't do anything to her. We just wondering how nice it would be working in this club with everything here. My head was spinning from the nausea and started spinning even more than James grabbed Arthur by his jacket. A guy came to the rescue. Hunter, chill. He didn't do anything to her. We were just wondering how nice it will be to work in this club with everything here. We didn't even get a look at her tits. Ethan insolently added. I saw James grit his teeth, asking to escape his grip by shoving him. James wavered, but it didn't fall. I don't have to justify myself to anyone, and I certainly don't have to ask permission to bang one of your little girlfriends. Isn't that right, Jamie? His slimy voice made me shudder in horror, but James didn't seem too scared of him. Never mind his entourage. Sure, touch her and I'll kill you. A curious challenge came from a group of meatheads who started laughing at James. Austin, on the other hand, looked extremely serious and shot me a look. Threats don't suit you. You're not in a position to. Didn't we fuck you up last time, or am I wrong? The guys chuckled. James was forced to back away in that fraction of a second. Austin grabbed one of my arms and dragged me toward him. I tried to resist, but it was useless. He put his arm around my waist, trapped me with both of his arms, and held me still with my back on his chest. James clenched his jaw and glowered at him. Let her go. Don't make any false move, James Austin threatened as I started to dissociate from reality. My feet were cemented to ground in fear. I closed my eyes and understood the gravity of the situation when he grabbed my hair and exposed my neck. I felt my heart in my mouth and his heavy breath all over me. No, let me go, I screamed as his cold, callous hands slithered under my hoodie. Listen to how this princess screams. My survival instinct kicked in, and I lifted my foot and slammed it into his shin with all my might. It was enough to make him push me to the ground. James pounced on top of him and punched him so hard that it knocked him out. Austin's face was full of blood, and his body turned into a dead weight. He was out cold. He seemed like a lifeless dummy. I stared at him dumbfounded. I lifted my head. James was looking at me. Are you okay? He whispered. Austin's friends took advantage of the moment of distraction to grab James by the shoulder. Frightened, I'm scared. Everything happened so fast that Frightened, I screamed. Everything happened so fast I felt like I was in the middle of a movie scene. It was four against one. Two of them held him back while the other two sucked him in the stomach repeatedly. I saw him throw up blood and collapse on the ground, and even they kept picking, and even they kept kicking him. Please, enough. Obviously, nobody listened to me. The melee was getting so out of control that other people came to break up. We were the breathless, and with my heart bursting, I resigned myself to watching them dead defenselessly. When a handman, a guy offered to help James, but Austin got up and scared him away with a glare. This asshole still doesn't know who calls the shots around here. Austin spit on the ground before leaving with his group of friends. James rolled onto one side and clutched his stomach. He tried to get up, but it seems like he was in too much pain to do so. Are you crying, White? He asked when seeing pain. Confused, I touched my cheek. Of course not. Can I help you? I tried to put his arm around my shoulders to help him up. No, Jesus, he was heavy. Where's Will? I wanted to go home. I can't be here anymore. I exclaimed, my voice cracking in fear. James made a subtle sign with his head, so I went with him to the parking lot. We plodded to his Mustang and he collapsed in the driver's seat. I grabbed the first aid kits from under the seat. Are these the same guys who beat you up the other day? I dipped a cotton ball in hydrogen peroxide. What the fuck is it to you? He spat. He groaned as I put the cotton ball on his eyebrow. You don't give a fuck about anything, do you? James didn't answer, but he took my breath away with such an intense glare that it made me burn. I kneeled on the seat to lean toward him. Lift up your chin, I ordered as James stayed weirdly quiet. The deepest cut seemed to be on his lip, but I was too embarrassed to look at him and see it. Maybe if your turn toward me, it will make it easier for me to finish up. James continued to ignore me, so I grabbed him by his t-shirt collar and lifted it up to his jaw. Fuck, do you really think this is appropriate? He turns out when I leaned over him to finish the job. What? Do you really have to straddle me like this? My eyes widened in horror. I'm not, oh, forget it. I grumbled, then started to get up, but he grabbed my sweatshirt, by grabbing my sweatshirt, finished up alright, but this is going to hurt a little. I whispered before blotting his mouth. James didn't make a sound, but he kept on staring at me. He stared at me so intently and silently that it made my inside twist and turn. I almost prefer when he was talking. Why are you always such an asshole to me? I didn't do anything to you. I'm an asshole, White? Why didn't you open your fucking eyes every once in a while, huh? What do you mean? I saw him tilt his neck back to adjust the sunroof. If I was that much of an asshole, I wouldn't get it in the shit beat out of me. I sighed. You don't have to do that, Hunter. They would have done anything to me. You never want to listen to me. I told you this is no place for you. You could have got hurt and nobody would have given a fuck. No, 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 not. No, they wouldn't turn you to shreds in 5 minutes. I nervously pushed my hair behind my ear. What do you mean? I looked down at the tight t-shirt hugging his sculpted abs. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me. On top of me, I ignored the malicious tone of his last few words and focused on the first part of the sentence. Would it kill you to say thank you? I teased without hitting a bit of sheepishness. You always being a smartass. Meanwhile, you'd be in tears somewhere if it wasn't for me. So yeah, you need to thank me, Snow White. No, I said. Oh my God, you're so stubborn. He licked his split lip, stirring up a whirlwind of contrast and sensation in me. I tried to go back, but this time he grabbed my waist and stopped me. Go home. Trust me, I nodded because this time he was right. I didn't want to spend another minute there, not even wait for William. Are you coming with me? I asked, realized that we were already in the right seats. James frowned contemptuously at me. Do you really think I give a fuck about you? Would you rather go back there? Do you want me or on your conscience? I bugged him. My God, you're a pain in the ass, White. I got out of the car and before closing the door, I bent over to look at him. So, Hunter, get in the car. Do you do you have to vape? It's rude to people around you. James took his eyes off the road and shot me a dirty look. Shut the hell up, he spat. As I just said you vape too much, I explained, trying to keep it calm. James curled with his lips into a sarcastic smirk, shaking his head like the guy who would never give a fuck about anything that he was. What are you doing? I saw his upper lip curl. I would have done it for any girl. That's good, I said, but I asked you something now. Did you do it just because you want to punch him? It wasn't to like defend me or anything, wasn't? Then put the vape pen between his puffy lips and put his hands on his cheek as if to disguise the bored expression that he wore every time I talk. If anything, I did it for William, not for you. I closed my eyes, exhausted by the. That's good, I said, but I asked you something else. Do you do it just because you want to punch him? It was to like defend me or anything, was it? Jade put his vape pen between his puffy lips and put his hand on his cheeks as if to discuss poor expression that he wore every time I talk. If anything I did, it's for William, not for you. I closed my eyes, exhausted by the countless emotion I felt in the last few hours. First, the fear of being near him, then the sensation of feeling safe around him. Yeah, I felt so much rage around him, but seeing him look that better made me feel guilty. Are you done? He demanded bluntly. I quickly turned around and looked out the window. Quit treating me like this, Hunter. And you quit staring at me. I was just looking. You still have a little blood. It's nothing. Your parents never say anything when you show up like this. He burst out laughing, and I crossed my arms across his chest, irritated. I don't see what's funny about my question. Keep living in your fairy tale world, Snow White, he teased as he parked in front of my house. I got out the car, then poked my head through the open window. Wait, I wonder, what the fuck is it now? I heard him whine. I tell you, wait here. I ran inside to get his uniform. When I came back outside, I found him leaving the car. Well, he prodded as he saw me standing still in the front of the door. I walked down the steps, came closer, my eyes sliding down his sculpted ass, which was wrapped in a blood-stained t-shirt. Are you bleeding? I pointed at his chest. You only treated my face, remember? Then he looked at me, his dark eyes swallowed up in an instant. Something grabbed my stomach. It was all a feeling of unexpected lightness. No, June. All the second smoke was getting to my head. James threw the vape pen away and licked his lips. So I don't have all night, why he said patiently. Shh, be quiet. I glanced upstairs where my mom would immediately appear when she heard loud voices. Here, I handed him his uniform and raised his eyebrow and my sweatshirt. I still have to wash it. Looks better on you, he muttered on his breath so quietly that I thought I didn't hear him right. Where'd the repulsion you felt around me go? What? I said, no problem. He shut the conversation down with a husky, mellow, hoarse tone. What? That how he talked to everyone else? No, he definitely wasn't being polite. My brain was being clouded right then. I turned away from him without saying goodbye. Wait, oh no, yeah, don't mention it, eh? I looked at the ground, suppressing a smile that leaned under the doorjab. Go home. You need some sleep, James. I spent the next day studying. I missed two calls from William that afternoon, pretending not to see him. I didn't want any distraction. I called him back when I finished the pages I planned on. I planned around. I planned on. Around 6, I bolted into the kitchen, like a ferocious beast in search of food. I couldn't handle another 10 minutes of chemistry without getting some sugar in me. You sure like that? My mom was putting shiny little earrings on. How should I be? I asked, proud of my Christmas pajama. It's not Christmas, she coded. If it is because of that, it's not nightmare either, but I'm fine, I replied as I dunked a cookie in Nutella. I want some Nutella right now. She shot me an angry look. What about dinner, June? What dinner? 33 Emilia. Amelia, where's June? I had to stay late and Brian came to pick me up. He looked more even miserable than usual. She went home with her mom as said slamming the car door. Why are you studying at school? Can you study at home? My brother and his infallible instinct for sniffing our lies. Brian said a third degree for your girlfriend. I gave him a slight smile, and he started the car with a more serious expression than necessary. What girlfriend? Bravo, smartass. I quit adjusting my skirt and my knees. But then I remembered that Brian was never a smartass. You're joking, right? I asked, whirling around. No, we broke up. What? Are you serious? It seemed absurd to even ask him because Brian never joked around, especially not about Ari. No, she said she wasn't sure how she felt about me. After 2 years, my best friend dumped my brother and didn't even tell me. When did she dump you? Half an hour ago, he answered tensely. You and she, oh my god, how you take it? How are you? I put my hand on his shoulder. Brian contorted the side of his mouth into a sad grimace. How should I be? I feel like shit. I'm sorry. So it isn't like all the other times. Maybe she indecisive, and Aria was like that. She swung like a pendulum, and we never knew where she would end up. One day she was an animal rights activist, and the next day she would be eating meat like she couldn't live without it. She was convinced. She said she was sure of herself this time. Did she tell you anything? No, I had no idea. I bit a hangnail off my pinky. What if Taylor? He had been telling the truth in the bathroom. James was such a piece of work that I had expected him to do anything. I could have killed him with my bare hands. She once time to herself. I think she just stressed because her dad on her butt because she got a B. A B is not bad. Well, if my dad got a B of my of my of my class, she would she would not be mad at me because for my dad, a B is good on his book that he says. No, B is good. Yeah, B is good. No, she said she isn't sure she loves me. Amelia, I don't know what else there is to discuss. Hearing his devastated tone made me want me to grab James by the balls and crush them. I was sorry for Brian, but I wouldn't give up. I already couldn't dump my brother. Not like that out of nowhere. Paused to think. Brian immediately became paranoid. Is there something else there isn't somewhere else? Is there telling me the truth? He demanded coldly. Not that I know of. She didn't mention anyone to me. I murmured, putting my hand on his shoulder. Okay, let's talk about something else. He groaned, irritated. Nothing from that. I asked, already disappointed. The thought of my dad disappearance tortured me every night, but now another thought plagued me. If Ari was cheating on my brother, I will find out if it was the last thing I did. 35 June. June, Mom, quit taking my mascara. What else should I take? You only got this. I saw her coming in and out was making me fly off the handle. Now I couldn't stand the clacking of her heel on the floor. Look, I'm happy that you're ready for your prom, but heads up, I'm wearing jeans. Come on, June, you make me look bad. I stare at her perplexed, huh? You make me look like I am trying too hard. I paused to admire the black sheath dress that showcased her lean, slender figure. I will, I exclaimed untactfully. She looked at me unsatisfied. It was time to backtrack and try again. I mean, you look great. You look 10 years younger. I said it because I meant it's certainly not to get anything to return because the only thing I wanted was to get out of this damn dinner and that's what's happening. Are you sure? I don't like I'm trying too hard to impress her. You couldn't tell that she wasn't used to dating. Why don't you want to impress him? I never got out. Let me feel hot for once, June. I covered my ears and wrinkled my nose into a grimace. Why do you have to say it like that? Ew, her eyes went wide. Isn't that what she said? Yeah, but that yeah, but they don't say that about moms, I exclaimed, making her laugh. You're so grown up, June. Can you at least put this on? She suggested, coming back to my room with one of her dresses. Since when did you let me borrow your clothes? I was really skeptical now. Since you're grown up and they look better on you than me, I grumbled, and without being too difficult, I tried on a blue velvet dress that looked like something from the 90s that Jennifer Aniston would have worn on a red carpet. I fell right below my knees and wrapped around my curves without squeezing them too much. What do you say? She asked hopefully. It's too dressy. It was actually made for someone who was tall and slender like her. It didn't do anything for my wide hips and my rounded belly. You look great, June. It's a bit tight on me. I sat down. I'll pop a stitch. What are you talking about? You look gorgeous, he insisted, bringing me to the mirror. I kicked my head down as a wave of my blonde hair covered my face. My mom gathered it on my shoulders. Do you like it? She asked. Why would I? Why should I? June, look in the mirror. You look gorgeous. How could you not like it? And I don't know. I would have had a laundry list of objective reasons. My thighs were so soft that they rubbed against each other, same with my arms, not to mention my round face, the roll on my stomach, and the stretch marks on my legs. But mom didn't seem to notice any of that. She studied me with dreamy eyes. It doesn't fit me, mom. Then change, she said, resigning herself. No, I don't want you to wear something just to make me happy, but if you can make a sacrifice. I decided to make what was a small effort for me, but would be a major source of joy for her. For once, I appeased her. Okay, I muttered. I pulled my hair into an updo, leaving a few strands to fall on my face. Very sophisticated, she said, satisfying, even though she didn't have a clue about style or good taste. Thanks, Mom. That's definitely a compliment coming from you. She obviously didn't pick up on my sarcasm. I really look like a crazy artist's daughter, I commented, giving myself a final once over in the mirror. And that looked like the crazy artist's daughter's sister, right? Welcome to the insecurity carnival. Yeah, Mom, you look very hip, hot. Remember that. Let Jordan say that, I teased. The ride over was short, too short for my liking, and didn't know that the man lived a few blocks away from us. Mom put lipstick on for the 100th time before getting out of the car. I rolled my eyes. The night hadn't even started, and my patient was already wearing thin. You'd think he spent 3 hours getting ready. It would already have been a lot if he even took a shower. I provoked her, opening the car door. June, don't start with that now. We women are required to waste hours waxing and plastering on makeup and dressed into the nines for people who will only take 2 minutes to change their underwear. She mentioned for me to shut up as she rang the door, but no, seriously, do you think he spent all day thinking about what tie to wear to impress you? What are you talking about? There's no need to. Shh! She scolded me as Jordan opened the door. I heard my mom hard draw to her feet. Jordan, her voice was so shrill that I almost laughed, but I held back. I gave him the once over. Okay, he was good looking. Since when could 40 something be that attractive? I studied his expensive suit and snow white shirt that hung perfectly on his broad chest. Hi, April. Looking lovely as always, the men say in a strong London accent. We're done for. He leaned in to kiss her on the cheek, then turned to me. Hi, June. I'm happy you came. You know how it goes. You put a gun on my head. I didn't have much of a choice. June exclaimed my mom, her face beaked red. I'm kidding. Obviously, I giggle. Your daughter's nice, he murmured, smiling at her before bringing us to the dining room. This is my son Jasper. A blonde 11 or 12-year-old boy sat at a set table. He looked at us without saying a word and didn't even answer us when we said hi. For a brief moment, Jordan seemed uncomfortable, but he diffused the situation by sitting us at the table, ready for dinner. The evening started out with the usual stilted banter. Do you cook? Oh no, I got a catered. You should have told me. You know how much I love a man who can cook. I roll my eyes. By all means, act like I'm not even here, I thought, irked. I bit into my steak and watched the kid at the other side of the table. Blonde curls fell into a pair of vacant eyes. There was something familiar about them. I looked from his nose to Jordan's. They both had perfect profile, and that disturbed me. Something about Jasper bothered me, even though he hadn't even opened his mouth. I looked around bored. I hadn't realized how magnificent the house was when we arrived. Christ almighty, they were filthy rich. A cough interrupted my thoughts. Mom narrowed her eyes and pointed at the kid, inviting me to strike up a conversation with him. I said the first thing that came to my head. How's school? He looked at me without answering. He kept staring at me even when he took a sip of his water. Jasper, what classes are you taking? Interjected my mom as if I hadn't already tried to get him to talk. He didn't budge. Jordan, who didn't seem particularly capable of handling the situation, served as a second helping of smashed potatoes. Jordan, you told me when you also have a son uh, who's a year older than June. Yeah, but Edward never home. I choked on a piece of steak and started coughing like crazy. June. My mom patted me hard on the back twice. The only laughing was Jasper. Ah, that made you laugh, eh? I exhaled faintly. He stared at me with an ambiguous snicker. He seems amused by my discomfort. You were telling us about your son, Mom feigned comfort as if her daughter didn't almost just die on her. Ah, yeah. How about you tell me about the last collection you exhibited at the gala? Jordan changed the subject. Meanwhile, I lost my appetite. Everything was happening too quickly. I heard the front door slam, startled me. Jasmine didn't seem surprised. In fact, he shot me a smile with two dimples on either side of his mouth. Sorry, I think that's my son. Let me handle this. I'll be right back, announced Jordan as a shadow of concern flashed in his cobbled eye. You said you weren't coming back, I heard him say near the door, and yet here I am. Ta-da! My heart was about to jump out of my chest. The voice all my fears came true in 1 second. I'm having guests over for dinner. Please go to your room and don't ruin everything. Sure, have you been drinking? Jesus Christ, you always do this, gentlemen. I almost had a heart attack when James Hunter appeared in front of me. His hair was messy, his cheeks were flushed, and his pupils were dilated. Edwards, his dad scolded me, "Don't fucking touch me." I kept my head down, hoping a meteorite would hit me and burn me in this obscene dress, but it never came. I looked up slowly. "What the fuck are you doing in my house?" I darted my eye left and right, pretending that nothing had happened, but at last I found myself in the lion's den next to my scandalized mom to boot. James pointed at me. "I can't believe it. You are a fucking You are a fucking stalker," he screamed before turning around and marching up the stairs, followed by a thud and Jasper amused smirk. "I'm sorry, forgive me. Sorry, April. My son is a mess." My mom calmed Jordan, who was drinking from his wine glass with his hands shaking down. "Do you know him?" she asked me under her breath when Jordan left to get something from the kitchen. "Yeah, sure. He's an insufferable nutcase and an asshole who gets off on running other people's lives." No, I couldn't say that his brother. No, I couldn't say that with his brother around. I'm pass in passing. "Is he in class with you?" "Yeah, but we don't get along." "Oh my god, he's not your group of friends, is he?" "No, mom." My mom put on a fake smile just as Jordan came back to the dining room. The rest of the dinner went by slowly, and after more conversation that was more boring than in a biochemistry lesson, I looked over at the Xbox by the TV. When I played a game, I suggested to Jasper, even though I knew the answer. To my surprise, he got up and sat on the couch. I followed him as the two adults sipped wine and ate dessert. He passed me a dry pad. Just like that, in less than a half an hour, that kid beat me at each and every game imaginable. I barely stopped myself from jumping up and down when I finally managed to win a single FIFA game. "Ben, check that out. Wait until I practice a few times and I'll kick your ass." He laughed, putting his hand in front of his mouth. "Curse words make you laugh, don't they, eh?" Oh my gosh, June. You are a little shit. Suddenly, Jordan came to see what we were doing. "Everything's okay?" He sounded skeptical. "Yeah, is that okay, play? Are you really playing together?" "Yep, and I'm winning big time." I lied just to make Jasper talk or laugh again. Jasper shook his head, amused. "It would be a good idea to say that you're letting me win. Otherwise, you're the true king of the little guys." Mom poked her head in too, but Jordan motioned for her to not disturb us, and they went back to the table. "Can you tell me where the bathroom is?" I asked, feeling a sudden urge to pee that was impossible to ignore. Jasper snickered and pointed out the staircase leading upstairs. "Sure, why not? There has to be another bathroom here, isn't there?" He made no signal, continued to smirk derisively. "Well played, shithead." My mom and Jordan were so absorbed in the conversation about paintings that they didn't even notice me walking past them. I felt my heart rate increase with every step I took. There were four doors, and only one of them was left ajar. I inched closer carefully in the dark. I could make out a figure hunched over on the bed, staring into the void with his head down. He was only wearing a pair of tracksuit pants and was vaping out the window. "James," he didn't lift his head. I should have minded my own business and got in. I pushed the door lightly and opened the magical under the spell of my finger. "Everything's okay? Does it look everything okay? Leave me the fuck alone." James stood up and slammed the door in my face. "June, are you sure that nothing between you and Edward?" My mom was driving home at a snail pace. "First of all, his name is James, and he is a world-class asshole. What do you think I could possibly have to do with someone like that? No way. Does a uniform I found at home belong to him? Oh, no. Look, Mom, let's be honest. You saw what kind of kid Jordan has. How can you date someone like that? He isn't even capable of raising him." Jordan just took custody of his kids. "He lived in New York before." "What?" "He lived in New York, I told you a million times, June. He was in the charge of setting exhibits at MoMA. He works at Hold on, wait a minute. Go back. Where did they live before? With the mom. With the mom. She and Jordan had two kids, but they were never married. She was with another man. And what happened to her? I saw her grimace in her typical disappointment when she saw when she was about to gossip about someone. When her last husband left her, she had a nervous breakdown. Poor thing. Only recovered a year and a half ago, she whispered with a stirring of pity. And the guy who was with her couldn't take care of it. Couldn't take care of them. Hmm? Their stepfather, eh. I don't think he was a great guy. In fact, I think that Jordan came back specifically so they wouldn't be around. What happened to that guy? Mom seemed to think about it, but then she glared at me. What does it matter to you, June? It's not because, Mom, is that what you think? Mom, that what you think? She mocked me. I have eyes, sweetheart. I saw him. He is the typical bad boy who makes girls' panties drop. I stared at her horrified. How dare she? First of all, I'm not a child, and second of all, my panties wouldn't drop for someone like him. Joke aside, the wine was flowing a little too much during dinner, and she was happier than usual, but then she quickly composed herself. Jordan's son is bad news, not to mention dangerous. He already been in juvie, and he beat his classmates to a to a pulp. June. Brian, who knows why he didn't? She raised a neighbor especially. Do you think anything justifies something like that? No, I'm just saying he must have had his reason. No, it's none of your business. It's better for you to stay away from him. I sighed looking out the window. I was planning on it and feeling was mutual. Jasper is so adorable. He is creepy, Mom. I was talking I was talking with Jordan. Jasper needs help with his English class. Yeah, sure. And I sound care because I froze. Mom, why does Jasper talk? But she ignored me and continued her monologue. He has trouble following his special needs teacher, but he seems comfortable with you. You have great grades in English. Don't ever think about it. I'm not setting foot in that house again. Not even if we were broke and you wanted to burn my Christmas pajamas to keep us warm during the winter nights. Watch it, she exclaimed amused. And now that I think about it, canvases burn better. If we were penniless, your painting would finally be useful. Quit being a smart aleck. It's what, Mom? Jordan noticed that Jasper got along with you. I saw trouble coming from a mile away, but he didn't say a word to me. You played together, he trusted you. That's a big step for him. Why? He's a mild form of autism, but he is a smart kid. Ever since his mom left him, he has selective mutism. Unfortunately, she wasn't very present in his life. Damn it, she already convinced me. Think about it, June. I would have if his brother and I didn't hate each other guts. 36. 36 June. Do you think it's time, June? I slammed the locker door, feeling a calm that I didn't feel to. I wasn't great at masking my emotions, no matter what they were. I break the silence. Break the silence, said William, leaning his arm over the locker and blocking me. I ducked under him. I wanted to call you again last night, but my mom had this dinner. What dinner? He asked, watching me dog-eared. The science book didn't James tell him? There were two options, lie or tell the truth. I was at James's house. He knit his blonde brows. What? I didn't know it was his house when I was there. Our parents are organizing an exhibition, but what do I know? I grumbled, irritated. James told me you went to his house the other night. Yeah, because you disappeared. I clarified, confronting him with my gaze. I didn't forget about you, I asked him to stay with you. I heard heavy steps come closer. I heard heavy steps coming closer, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw a familiar silhouette approach us. James passing by us chewing gum without acknowledging us. He accidentally bothered to put on his uniform this morning. The jacket was tight on his shoulder, while his untied tie slid in a disorderly way on his shirt. His hair was messier than usual and didn't have any gel on it. Will you have dinner at my place one of these days? William suggested, piqued my curiosity. Why? I asked quickly without hiding skepticism. He led me down countless times, inviting me to dinner was enough to make me forget what happened. To introduce to you to my parents, he declared calmly and raised my eyebrow. Ah, when do they get back? Tomorrow, I don't know. Well, what you said the other day made me think, really, June, if we aren't honest with each other from the start, we risk laying the groundwork for a non-existent relationship. Maybe it's just me, but lies scare me away, I said. He smiled, running his finger through the hair of his on the nape on his neck. Are you always this direct? I didn't know how to answer. That maybe given him the impression that I was so insecure that I accept anything just to be with the guy as hot as he was. It's true, well, if you want me to hold a grudge against you for 2 days and not answering your messages and then play hard to get so you can apologize for the millionth time, I can, but I don't care about your apologies. I don't like those kind of games. If you want to be with me, I'm just asking one more I'm just asking one thing. Honestly, it's not hard. My words seem to strike a chord. I noticed it when his crystal clear gaze intensified. Yeah, but girl, I've been involved with before. Didn't usually realize that you're really mature, he asserted. He asserted. Do you think you could just show up with the pretty face of yours and everything would fall into place? I teased with a hint of sarcasm. I was hoping. A smile, she shook his head to ruffle his hair, then became serious. All jokes aside, I agree.